Is it going? Oh, I think it is. Hey everyone, welcome to my first draw with me. Honestly, I feel super awkward, but I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and I'm finally getting around to doing it now. So bear with me. I'm still the noob at this, but I'm gonna try my best. Yeah, so to start, my name's Birdie. I'm originally from California, but I live in Sweden now, where I live and work. And I know a lot of people think that I do my shop full-time, but it's actually just a side thing for me, and I work full-time as a UI UX designer in games. I mean, it would be super cool to be able to do this full-time one day, but yeah, I guess we will see. I have a cat, and his name is Bosley. You've probably seen him in my stories, but he's this big black and white cat who has no tail, and he's afraid of everything, and he loves to eat. I used to have another cat, but she passed away a few months ago. I really miss her, but yeah, it was her time. So I get people asking me how I started my business, and really it just started out as a hobby and like a side thing. I was thinking about, I'm spending a lot of money on art supplies. It would be kind of cool if I could, use my hobbies to pay for my hobbies. So that's when I started on Etsy. So I started selling a few things there. Actually, backtracking a little bit, it's kind of funny because it all kind of started after my first trip to Japan. I was kind of walking around in one of their crafting sections, and I don't know why, but I feel like I found my inspiration in Japan to start crafting. It's kind of funny because I actually didn't really like crafting before, because my perception of crafting was things with glue, and I kind of hate glue in a lot of ways because it's so sticky. I don't know, I think it has something to do with like my childhood. Anyway, that's a segue. But yeah, I started on Etsy, and then it wasn't until this year that I decided to try to make that business a little bit bigger. And so I had to start thinking about like where I wanted my brand to go and what I wanted to focus on, and that's like eventually where I kind of swapped a little bit and started doing like a lot of pins and a lot of things that I felt were a little bit more me, because I feel like before I was really inspired by other artists, and I felt like it was time to try to find my own style, which I know can be really hard for artists. Like, I know that I struggled with that for a really long time. And I would say that I feel like I didn't really know what my style was actually until quite recently, in the past few years, even though I've been out of school for 10 years, or almost 10 years, so you can kind of guess my age, I guess. But it is something really hard that I think a lot of artists struggle with, like this sense of needing to have a style, or feeling like they don't have a style. And I can say that as someone who has worked as an artist for many years, like everybody kind of feels that. And I think the thing that helped me a lot is realizing that style is more just what you enjoy making without the pressure of what people expect you to make. It's kind of funny that my first draw with me is actually a person or a self-portrait, because I actually really hated drawing people, or I really disliked drawing people, because I always felt that my style wasn't really what people were expecting, and because I couldn't really achieve that level of what so many mainstream artists were doing, I always felt that I was really bad. And I guess it's taken me this long to realize that's just simply not true. There are many different styles, and just because you don't do the mainstream doesn't mean that your style isn't good or that your art's not good. Like, really, your style is what you enjoy making, without having to think about what people expect you to make. And I actually went to art school. So I went to art school for media arts and animation. So I was surrounded by people who were, aspiring to work for places like Disney and Pixar, and they pushed us to kind of draw with a very Disney-esque like style, I would say. And I would say that for me, naturally, that it was really hard. So in school, I actually avoided drawing people because I always felt like I wasn't very good at that and I couldn't achieve that. But it's just an interesting reflection because I kind of do like drawing people now in my own style, without having to worry about like what my teachers think or how good my peers were, and such. So I guess my word of advice for anybody who's really struggling with style or trying to figure out what they want their art to look like, I would say make it just look like how you want it to look like, and not worry about what's expected or what it should look like. Like, have fun with it, and express yourself, right? Because if we're all trying to make our work look like one thing, it's really hard to stand out. And so, yeah. I guess that's my little bit on style. But just know that you'll get there, and don't put too much pressure on yourself if it takes a long time, because sometimes that's just what happens, and that's what you need time. I know another thing I've talked to a lot of artists about is, the dreaded artist block. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like I've found a way around artist block in the past year. I actually haven't really felt much artist block until trying to make this video, actually. I don't know, I felt a lot of pressure to try to make something really good for this video, which I know it's a bit simple, the illustration I'm making, but I thought it would be fitting at least for like a first introduction. Anyway, so on artist block, I know artist block can also be really, really hard for people, like this feeling of needing to draw something. And honestly, my word of advice for that would just be to take it easy, and don't beat yourself up for it. Like, in my day-to-day job, I have to make things for other people all the time, right? Like, when you work professionally as an artist, you don't really make art for yourself, you make art for what's needed for the project. And I would say that when it comes to like making your own personal art, you should just let it come when the time is right, because it's not really a job, or at least it shouldn't be a job. It should be enjoyable. So if for some reason you can't really, or if you feel like you can't really draw anything, it might be just a sign to do something else or take a break. I know that for me it's a lot easier to just not force myself, because that's when I get artist block. So instead I'll just kind of do something else. I don't know, maybe go for a walk or play with my cat, or try maybe some type of other creative outlet. So I mean, I think if you've seen my channel, I kind of do quite a lot of different things. So I think having a lot of different hobbies really helps. So I really like painting, and I really like crafting. So like playing with polymer clay. I've also recently started doing some ceramics stuff. And so that's super new for me. I have the tendency to try new things, thinking that they're going to be super easy, and then actually doing them, and then realizing that they're super hard. So recently my new kick was I'm going to start making stamps. I'm going to go all in on stamps. Actually, originally I wasn't going to go all in on stamps. I only bought like the bare minimum. But then after I made one stamp, I was like, oh, this is so fun. So then I bought a whole bunch of stuff for stamps. And sadly, I haven't made anything with them since I bought it. So maybe the next video should be like a stamp video, so I can justify having bought all those things. But yeah, so I have this never-ending hobby thing, I guess. Which is cool, but also expensive, which is why I also have my shop to hopefully help pay for my hobbies, so I can keep making stuff for you guys. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps everything up. This was really hard to talk for 10 minutes. I had to do a few takes, I'll be honest. And I took a lot of footage of a lot of different things before choosing this one, so I hope you like it. It was kind of simple.
Plant cat.
And as the other YouTubers say, all the cool YouTubers say, hit that like and subscribe button, just so you know I know that you like this, and so that I will hopefully make more videos too. Yeah, thanks. That's pretty much it. Hope you liked it.
I don't know, sometimes